Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to ask Mr. Talbert, with the pending agreement, would that allow the tenant and their participant families to utilize dedicated parking on the City Hall campus?
Yes. Steve, can you pull up that image for me? This was discussed in committee earlier, and you know, I understand Pam's concerns. However, I adamantly disagree with her conclusion. We have almost 900 parking spaces to serve this campus, the furthest of which is approximately 800 feet. And, you know, by her math alone, if there's 200 at any given time, it would require each person to drive 3 or 4 cars. It's not going to happen. We've got designated drop-off spaces that we're going to look at expanding if necessary in front near the fountain, which would serve the Kids Rock Free program, because as we know, a lot of the parents tend to drop the kids off and pick them back up an hour later or 2 hours later. On the Vicentia side, there's also going to be, and there's already an existing drop-off spot, which the CAT folks have agreed to primarily utilize for them. And on both sides of either facility, in what we call the old PD area, there's parking. In the courthouse, which empties out after about 2 o'clock, actually, there's 166 spaces, 21 on the east side of the City Hall parking lot, which empties out around 5:30. So I think we are short on parking by lazy California standards sometimes, because I'm one of those folks that, you know, I went to park right in front of the store, and, you know, that's not always going to happen. But I think as a campus, if we look at this more as a college campus and the adaptive reuse of Historic Civic Center, I think it will function really well. Could we always use more parking? Yes, but I think it is going to be more than ample for the needs and uses that we have programmed now, and some pending ones that could be showing up in the next couple of months.
Thank you.
Mr. Scott?
Nope.
Okay.
It's me.
Ms. Monte.
It's
They're
mine.
all messed up again. Because my name's in the queue, and I know I didn't push a button. Okay.
Okay. Darrell, you have on the map, and I'm glad you do, because I was going to ask that question on the secured spaces, because right now we don't have a court active, and it might be a good time to actually open that up a little bit more often, because really it was only being used by the judges after the PD moved out. And so I think that area would be a perfect area to be able to utilize back and forth some. What were you guys thinking for that area?
We're going to pick up that discussion again, Cynthia and I, when the city manager returns next week, because we need to get back in touch with the County of Riverside. They've not had budget to relook at changing the layout, because now that it's not a PD for us, we kind of want to go back to what the parking and access scenario looked like when it was a PD without secured parking for judges, and allow the court, if necessary, to create that on their own. Allow us to open up the back of that facility, which would gain access to the west side of the Fender area, downstairs anyway, near the bathrooms. And then we have another tenant that is looking at the PD building, which would then be able to gain access to that back area for parking and things of that nature. So we are working on that. We've just had a little bit of a disconnect with the county in terms of funding for them to secure their own building.
Well, and it doesn't mean necessarily that there's not a way we can't figure out to keep part of that area secured too. And so, okay, well, thank you. That's why I wanted to find out.
Whoever, just jump in.
Thank you.
I can't tell who's talking.
Mr. Talbert, if we can exclude the old police department building from this conversation, do you have any idea the percentage of square footage if this is approved, and the Kids Rock Free and the other events, if they were all to be approved, what's the percentage of occupancy, would you guess?
Probably in the mid-90s, because we'll have essentially 2 spaces left. One is, from memory, 500-ish feet, and one's about 600 feet. The old United Way space in the lobby that you might recall, right when you come in, the main lobby of the building, bottom floor, right side, that's now available. And then we have one additional space upstairs by the new United Way building, their new United Way space.
Thank you. So 90% of the
Mid-90s. It will be, assuming, not assuming, but as soon as Kids Rock Free did their build-out and they
Right.
take their space, and the people that are there and accounted for, plus the 2 approved tonight, will put us in the mid-90s.
Fantastic. Nice job.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, we do have another speaker, Cindy Monroe. Did you just push? Stan, did you just push it? You're the only one that has the right name.
Cindy Monroe, Artistic Director for Christian Arts and Theater. My address is 7360 Bobbitt Street in Corona. And I'm just beyond excited. This is the culmination of a long, dreamy race, and we're just this close. We are so excited that the city loves the collaboration partnership that we have together. This is going to put kids on that campus, re-energize the campus. We see it's the beginning of some exciting things to happen along the whole 6th Street corridor. When you bring amazing kids and their parents who are dropping their kids off and looking for something to do for the next 2 hours, as their kids are being trained in a wonderful, safe, fabulous facility. It's going to be so powerful for the city, and we love that you recognize that. We love that you have embraced the idea. I want to thank those of you on the council who had this idea before we did and brought us alongside, and we will do everything in our power to be the absolute best tenants with the city, with the other organizations that are going to be in that building. We have loved on this theater for 15 years. And as Don mentioned, 15,000 kids have gone through our program, and we love the Civic Center. It is really our home, and now we can say it with all truth. And it'll be the first real home that we've ever had over the last 15 years. So thank you for your consideration. Thank you for your encouragement and support, and I want to thank all the CAT families that are here tonight as well to support. It's so important to us. You have no idea what this will mean to the continued growth of our organization and the partnership we have with the city. So thank you all very, very much.
Mr. Skipworth.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mrs. Monroe,
Yes.
come back to your mark, please.
We haven't voted yet.
First of all, I see you didn't bring Bernard with you again.
I didn't bring Bernard.
I just kind of got used to that. Secondly, when it comes to CAT, I've told you this before. You remind me of the great line in Butch Cassidy. You've got a vision, and the whole world's been using bifocals. So I appreciate it. I know our community appreciates it, and we are looking for a very long, successful, and enjoyable relationship with you on campus.
Thank you.
Stay there. Mr. Haley.
Before we vote, I have two questions. How frequently do you envision using the actual theater itself? Does this lease include the theater with the stage and the seats, et cetera?
No, that is a separate agreement that we already have with the city and have had for some time. Our calendar is already set like 3 years in advance of when we will be in the theater.
Okay.
So this is really just about having a place for our training and a place that we can use for the kids as a green room. There's so many benefits to us being right there, but this is only involving because the theater is yours. It's beautiful. Right. We have loved on it, but there will be other organizations that want to use it as well, and we're excited to assist and be a part of it. But we do take a real pride of ownership over the theater, not in any sort of real way, but in our hearts and how we behave and treat that place. It's precious to us, and we want to continue to be that.
Okay. The other thing is that with the CAT program and the conservatory under Mr. Kindred's direction, I think is really marvelous, because not every young man and young woman, I hate to use the word child, but I mean, not everybody can hit a fastball.
That is right.
Not everybody can put a banana kick in the goal from the corner. I mean, not everybody can
Sing.
That's
why we're here, man.
Well, that's why we have stage hands, okay? But I think it's just marvelous that what you and Mr. Kindred are doing, and the entire crew, forgive me for leaving somebody out, are doing is you're giving opportunities for the youth in our fine city, okay, to express themselves, because somebody has got to be the Neil Diamond of the future, okay? So, Jesus, I date myself. Thank you very much.
Mr. Scott, can you top that one?
No.